need employment as per say in year 12, or they need employment in after graduation. So we have that set goal, and then we accordingly go down to the level that we want the students to start with. So we need to understand the industry, and from preschool onwards the activities should be set in a way that they have enough knowledge. So for example, role plays in preschool, you can set up say zoo shops in the nursery itself, in the pre kindergarten, where they go into and they are playing role playing, and they're understanding that if they go, how they have to behave, what is the customer service if they go into zoo. So one of them is a customer service, other school children in the class are going as per the visitors to the zoo, so they understand what is the role of a what you call the reception people, or what is the role, how as people who are entering the zoo need to behave. So they play that. If say you can have conversations, office front desk, how you go. So this is basic needs that the child has to have when they understand that how it is going to be played. You don't need too many things, fancy things in the class. If you cannot afford them, you can just create that thing with chart papers or any prop that you can get, right? Then learning is something that can be more effective if we learn by what we do. So learning is what we do for ourselves. So understanding that what is our needs, and as a teacher you understand that what are your students needs, and you behave like a mentor to them. Then what is the education requirement? Different types of education would be that you're teaching them soft skills, that is critical thinking, you are making them learn about teamwork, you are ensuring that they learn how to apply their knowledge. So activities in your curriculum are in a way set that whatever knowledge they learn, they understand how to apply them, so they're able to understand how the balance works, what they need to do, and as a community what responsibility you hold. Okay. Then adults also need to understand that what the learners say, for example, have broader aspects. So when they have, now if you see, because they are so knowledgeable themselves, because they can, the ones, especially the ones who are motivated themselves, they can access internet and they can understand different aspects of businesses. We recently have seen that there are so many youngsters who have become entrepreneur because they are learning themselves, so they are more enthusiastic. So the role of a teacher has now shifted to be a facilitator more than being something that they can teach, because nowadays children self teach themselves, but the experience as a teacher that you have cannot really compensate with what they're learning online themselves. So as a teacher you facilitate them already learned knowledge, how they can, your experience will tell them how to diverge those knowledgeable thoughts into the areas that would best fit them. So they, that kind of give them the vision that they need. And as a school you should have a vision too, to ensure that educate resources are there, staff development is there, and if there is needs to be any changes that need to be made as per the setup of your staff requirements, you should be doing that. Okay, community-based learning. So first is that community-based learning, we need to understand what is service and learning. That means you're teaching and you're learning where it is happening. So community-based learning is basically, we can say, is set in a diagram here, that we have to understand when we are talking about community-based learning, what are we giving the students? Are we making them understand whether it is the volunteer way they can do? So some spaces they'll have to go as a volunteer. Some spaces they can work as intern. Somewhere they can go for further training of their subject knowledge gained. And sometimes it just happens that how you can teach them the basics of how to be a good citizen, and then how to get into the community with those values. So students need to develop that. active participation in an organized service. They should experience that. It could be shadow work. So, for example, if somebody want have already decided they want to go into say medicine, um, or pharmacy, for example, and definitely they cannot go and have internship till the time they've done their degree. So what they can do is, if they're at a certain age, like some uh, hospitals don't allow students to have intern shadow work as well till the time they're 16 or above. So you have to ensure that you know those age limits. So if this student can do shadow work, this student can actually work under as an assist them, or intern, can be an intern, or go to health homes as a volunteer, so they can understand the working. So obviously, being a volunteer, you have to be 18 years or above, depending upon this place you are in. So you have to ensure that accordingly you assign them roles. So it is integrated into the academic curriculum, provide structure to the person, or discuss it with whether he or she what they are going to do during that activity. And then different activities are integrated while you're teaching that particular skill, or that say real life situations should be created, and then they should be done. Say for example, somebody who wants to go and become a psychologist, say example. So you, and they are learning psychology at a higher level, so a level, for example, or GCSE. There should be, when you're teaching them CBT, there should be role modeling happening. There should be activities where you pair them, and one person, you give them a script as a teacher. You give them a script, and one becomes the counselor, and the other becomes the patient who is trying to talk about their issue. So this way, the children who are going to further go for their development, professional development, and be a volunteer, for example, or shadow work with a counselor, they know already that okay, this is somewhat what we should be expecting, and they do not go with that fear of God knows what we need to do. So this is something as a enhanced classroom should look like. Then, what does experience-based career education? They have set it up according to Buckham and Brand. He says that it is something that bridges the gap between the study and the experience in the classroom industry. So the students schedule 1 to 3 hours, for example, or 2 to 3 days a week. And it could be longer as well, depending on what career option they want to take. And then they should be ensuring that they learn and gain those aptitudes, and ensure that they have the subject knowledge before they go and into a practical ground. So the subject knowledge enhancement that should happen in school, and accordingly children should be given independent work to do if they're going to go. So they should be well prepared when they go into those industries. So what should be the student goal when they are doing community based or career based learning is that they should ensure that their interests are definitely fun focused, and they have hands-on experience. So that's what the student goal should be. They should be able to plan themselves as well. They should ensure that the respect aspect is there, ability to think independently they are developing. So as a school, what you can cater is creative thinking. You can teach them problem solving strategies so that they learn them during the school activities or the school curriculum that is being delivered. Then they should be active learners, that they ensure that they are doing some independent work. They are and if in case you have students who don't do independent work, then you will have to create activities to ensure that they independently go and do those little works, and maybe you can give them as homework. Then ensuring that they have good technology knowledge, because nowadays without technology you really can't exist. So because that is the need of the hour of the workplace. Then ability to interact positively with adults. So that is something, again, social skills that you should be teaching them. You should be ensuring that they know the civic language, ensuring that what is the professional language to use in workplace, and if they have casual way of conversations, that should be corrected. Treating school as a professional place where they should know how to interact. Say, for example, the school or the classroom is their office, for example, because they are going to now go out and work. So when they're in the class, they should ensure total professionalism, dealing with their peers or the teacher is adhered to. They can be casual in the ground because that's their place to relax, and then improve communication with and team building skills. So here you should be ensuring that you give them activities that are group based activities, so 3 or 4 group people activities, so that they can ensure they learn how to work in a team, and then they learn how to assign roles, where you will also see the ability of somebody who can take on independent tasks. You'll see the ability, leadership abilities of those students. So accordingly, you can enhance or hone their skills. Okay, so elements of community-based learning. So one is internship program. So there could be different ways. The internship program is basically when you are paid experience. So when somebody goes on for an program as per their skills or as per their thought field, professional field. So what they do is they tend to go for internship program. So that means they will be employed but on a lower scale because they are under training. But here a coordination of the school is very very important with the employers. They should ensure that these kind of internships are in a way, so you could have, say, curricular co-curricular department in the school who has this, where they say that this is the careers department, for example, who are individually catering to. So the school has one designated staff member, if not a team, to deal with the employers to ensure that proper uh, functioning of that internship happens. The student is well equipped with what is expected by the employers, and the employers knows what the outcome of this internship should be or what is being expected. So there are definitely number of benefits that depending on what the personal or career goals a person has. So first is practical experience they gain from. Then when you've done internship, the CV becomes very solid. If suppose they're doing this internship during or after their say A levels, so when they're going for uni, their statement, the professional or the statement, personal statement that they're going to give to the university, that's going to be very, very impressive, because now the uni knows that they are so serious about their professional career path. So whatever, that's the reason they've taken on with the internship, is to ensure that they have better knowledge. So the uni is also very, I would say, they have a plus point and offers could be easily given. They can access chosen industry. Obviously now with the internship they've gone into the industry, so they can understand how it works. So they can even see if there is some new opportunities which they can actually continue with. They understand if this is the right job for them or not. And plus, they will also have additional contacts with the industry, and they will have contacts with industry professionals. So, if in case they want to learn or continue having um, further skill development, they can still have some contacts in the industry. This will also prepare them for different graduate roles that they're doing. So they will also understand that if suppose they're doing some internships, say for example, now they're in a medicine field, so they are under a doctor, so they realize they're, even when you're becoming a doctor, there are certain specializations that you have to take. So now they can even understand while in there what field would be best for them and what relevant experience they need, right? And this will also provide them with different skills, secure references. So if they need, they could have references for a, and for a job, like a permanent job could be offered to them as well, because the industry has liked their skills. So this way, somewhere, your knowledge that you're giving your children, they can definitely hone it to become their professional careers. Then what skills do they should, say for example, interns, what do they think that they're looking for? So as an intern, how are you helping the school students to ensure that when you are putting your student forward to the employee, are you able to tell them that these are the skills that the student already has with evidence? So that means your curriculum should have certain activities that gives this. So for example, collaboration. So an intern should regularly collaborate with the company employees and other interns. That means he needs to demonstrate the capacity of working in a team. So you as a school have to ensure that have you some young enterprise kind of programs in the school where you give them usually business studies. If they are doing, they do have this, where you give them, make a mini industry, or what you call a job, or a mini program you create for the students, where they become, they create their own office, or they create their own business, where they create their own team, and then you are giving them marks for it. So they've already done this little practice of working in a team. Then adaptability, interns usually responsible for taking variety of different tasks. So ensuring that the students that you're taking forward to the industry, or offering the employer for internship, they are not stubborn. If they are stubborn, have you worked on them and they're okay with adapting different responsibilities? Say for example, if I want to be a doctor, and or I want to be a counselor, and I'm working under a counselor, so it's not necessary the counselor is going to keep me make me sit by their side all the time. They could ask me to do filing for them. They could ask me to put the files away alphabetically. They could ask me to write certain things for them. They could ask me to organize their office for them, or even clean the office for them. So which is something they should be open to and they should understand. So that means as a school you should be giving these students different activities to ensure that they know how to, it's okay for them, or they feel it's okay for them to handle. Say for example, you're giving the senior most who are going for internship programs, you're giving them like responsibilities in the school, in the assembly, for ensuring that the assembly, the students are all lined up properly. The say for example, if the admin office needs extra help, instead of employing people for a short time, you can have students work after school, and you could give them, say, some minimal uh, offer of money as well if you want, or just like that they know that okay, this is type of jobs that can be asked if you're in an office. Then there should be initiative taking, so there should be evidence in your curriculum that you are doing, so that you can tell the employees that yes, they are people who can take initiative, and these are the evidences in the school. Then receptiveness, obviously every student who will work as an intern will have feedback, will do mistakes, will be told to do things a certain way because they do not know. So they should be open to criticism. They should know that this is not personal. They are just trying because they have gone in there as an intern. So whatever they are telling them to do, it's not because they don't like them. It is because they still need to work on their professional mannerism or attitude. Okay, so elements of another other elements is that you could have technical preparation. So the child should ensure that there are technical preparations. That means there should be programs in which they should be going for technical training. Then there should be school to work. That means they should ensure that there's some professional information given as per their skill they will need. So there is some practice in the school itself. So they are learning what certain aspects could be. So they are ensuring, say, for example, they want to work in a lab. So they should ensure that there is some equipment in the school to make them understand how the lab works. The youth apprenticeship, so they understand how the apprenticeship works, what they need to do, how they need to collaborate. Okay. So learning strategies as for community-based learning. So according to Zelzerman, the three critical steps of framing is that you should have proper planning. So that is framing of your curriculum. There should be a learning in a way that the cognitive approach is taken, ensuring that the mind understands the difference of applying the knowledge. Then there should be an activity itself based. So whatever planning you do, it should be activity which you're focusing on, or the student is focusing as a career on, should be based. You could have after school clubs, different clubs as per your students' interests, so that they can say business club, psychology club, medicine club, and then engineering club, for example. And the activities are planned in a way that they have experience on it in the school. And then reflection and debriefing. So that is that whatever they are doing every day, when they do that particular activity, a proper reflective information should be given, or they by them to their mentor or the coach that they are dealing with. And the debriefing, or whatever has happened, what went wrong, what went right, should be told to them properly. Another strategy that they felt, Collins, Brown, and Newman said that there are certain characteristics for idle learning and environment. So it should be designed in a way that it is effective. So first is the teaching method. What kind of a teaching method you're teaching? So is it really helpful for what they're going to do as per their professional aspect? The content is correct. I hope, like, they are not doing something that uh, is not valid, or the content does not really help them to enhance their skills. Then is it sequenced in a way that they are able to develop it, instead of like from easy to difficult aspect? They are not having been, there could be that in your curriculum there would be all aspects covered, but as a teacher, have you programmed it in a way that it goes from the easiest to the hardest, so the subject knowledge stays consistent? And the sociology of learning, so that is something very, very important for any curriculum based learning, is that the sociology of learning is taken into account and accordingly discussed. Okay, so whenever there is, say, as per Doran and Owens, a study identified by the approaches aspects of common learning, where the study they thought had taken into account was the Owen et al. Had said that should be based on explicit theory of learning. So whatever learning activity you're going to do, for them to be community savvy, is that it should have an explicit theory to it. Then it should also encourage the learners to perform the tasks normally given to adults in our society. So some small tasks that are done by the society should be given to the learners in the school. So for example, if we say that, okay, there's a safeguarding issue, there will be certain small things. So for example, cleanliness. So all these activities should be on a rota basis given to all the students who are ready for internship. Then you have to understand that you, when your curriculum, when you're balancing out what actions, reflection, and application. So what action a particular subject knowledge that you're giving, what action should be there, what kind of a reflective method is going to be discussed, and how you're going to apply that. Then you have to ensure the provide the experience of individual as per. It should be, obviously, if you say, I want, there are a group of people who want to be a doctor, but then there would be ability as per how they're going to work. So each and every, there could be learning difficulties, there could be slow learners, there could be learners who are gifted. So as per your activities, they should ensure that it's not just catering to the gifted students, it is also catering to slow learners as well. And so it should be catering this developmental and sequential kind of learning. Then uh, opportunities for unplanned learning from new experiences. So you can also have, for example, you could say, okay, today I'm going to give you a task which we have not briefed you about, and you're going to do, let's see how you will do it without any input from the teacher, without any information or targets given. You will just, this is the open task, and you're going to now do that. Okay. So Kohlberg cycle. So what, as per the Kohlberg model of learning, so he had a learning cycle. He said content teaching method, sequencing, and sociology of learning all should be taken into account. Okay, so model of learning. What did he say? That the model starts with three major sources, that is the skill, will, and thrill. He says, whenever you are teaching any content or anything, Kopak said that without the skill, without the will to do that or learn the skill, and the thrill means that without the uh, thrill, motivation, you cannot have the deep acquiring of any skill if you're not thrilled about it, and a knowledge success cannot happen, and deep consolidating of everything cannot happen till the time the child is not well trained to have first the skill, then the will to do whatever they want to do. So if you do not have, because it being the most powerful aspect of a learner, or enhances the cognitive abilities, is if you have the will to do it, and only then plus the thrill to transfer and bring out input. So input would happen when you have the skill. Surface and deep learning will happen if you have the will, and if you're motivated, only then it will be something that will transfer to give you outputs that are desired. Okay, so as per the community based, what is expected as an outcome? So, according to Zoltan, a competency of effective workers. So, the first is that we bring out effective workers, or we enhance productive and use of all the resources and interpersonal skills, and we ensure that we give into the society. Basic skills are enhanced, so ensuring that the when a student has already had community-based learning, their reading has improved, writing has improved, and speaking and listening skills, that is very, very important, and mathematical skills have enhanced. Their skills of creative writing, decision making, that is what we call thinking skills, solving problems, visualizing new ideas, and learning how to reason out what they want. And then the personal qualities, that is taking responsibility of their, or taking onus of their own doing, ensuring that they are responsible or developed the responsibility of knowing the difference between what is right and wrong, and how to ensure that if they made a mistake, they are able to stand or take the responsibility and rectify it. Okay. So, what is the expected outcomes of the community-based learning? So, first is that we should identify where they such programs have positive effect on the youth, and as per the school, it is your duty to ensure that they are having positive. Sometimes what happens is that you may have sent somebody for work experience or internship, but the environment, instead of developing their skills, is actually psychologically help not being very good to them. Sometimes the employers there are not very nice to the interns, in the sense that they don't know how to teach, maybe because they don't have the skills how to improve their learning. So they may, instead of improving them, they may be just scolding them, or maybe demeaning them. So that is something, as a school, you need to ensure that you are doing regular checks on the students. So they should have personal growth and development, that is their self-esteem should improve, the personal efficiency, that is worth, self-worth should improve, their moral development should happen, they should know the balance between right and wrong, they should understand how to explore new roles, identify it with themselves, and ensure that if this interests them or not. Sometimes it happens that the student may think that, yes, I like this aspect of to be my career, but when they go for practical experience, they are not really liking the environment, or they've just changed their mind, they don't want to do it. So as a school, it is your duty to ensure that you have a talk with them on that regard, and let them know that this is not and all. So if they don't feel comfortable, they have the right to come to you and say that we don't want to do this internship, we would like to try something new, which, or for which obviously as a school you can give suggestions. Then they should, for personal development, they should know yes, ready to take risks, but know to what level they can take risks and accept new challenges. Then responsibility of the consequences of their own action. Then intellectual development, academic learning, so higher level of thinking skills, content. So, for example, their knowledge should now have improved a lot because they have now in experience. So certain things, certain already learned knowledge should be embedded in them, and now the retention of knowledge should be done wonderfully, and they should be able to, now the experience should be able to give them good insight and judgment skills. Then social growth and development should happen. That is political efficiency. That should be, they know, understand what is politically being correct means. So how they need to understand how they should behave socially, control their words. They should have controlled conversations, controlled way of talking to people, where to say what and when, can identify the seniors, the juniors, and people whom, and definitely ready to help. Then knowledge and exploration of service related careers. So what careers they have they, while being in the work experience, have they explored the different aspects of their career to grow on them. And then understanding and appreciating the ability to relate to people, how important it is to be in a team, to work in a team, and to understand the background of companies that they work in, and how they can deal with certain life situations where work is concerned and their own life is concerned, and how to bring that balance, and they learn that early in life. Okay, so what could be the barriers to community-based learning? So first, we can say that as a school, you could have problems. Lack of funding could be there for education, for you to create that mini career-based opportunities for students. It could be that, say, for example, poverty and inequality could be one of the issues as well. So as a school, you ensure that these are not there. It could be that, suppose I want to be an artist, and but I may have short of funds and I cannot buy such expensive equipments or colors, or to ensure that I take it or enhance my skill further. So what is the school, as school, doing to ensure those students are catered to? Then school collaboration, whether the school, really the school is working well to collaborate with others, how, what is their attitude towards different based, like industry that they want the students to go. So is this there somebody designated, or the school is not very comfortable doing it? Older paradigm of education is rectified. That is, you cannot now teach students with the traditional way of just lecturing. You have to ensure that your teaching model in the school is changed and collaborates all the new and upcoming technology that and they students should be actually technology savvy and should understand the new aspects of the new world, acknowledge the importance of applying real life. So, as I've already discussed, so sometimes in your curriculum, you do not know what the real world issues are. What could it be? Say, for example, the school refuses to talk about certain issues which they are maybe not their ideology, or they do not agree, and it is going on, like the changing of the world, the acceptance of a new community, or say, I can say, the gender roles nowadays have changed. So are the school catering to it? Is the school accepting enough to give them that knowledge? Then orientation and training of both educators and community mentors. So is the school giving proper on upgrading their teachers, the educators who are going to other further facilitate the students? Are they being updated regularly? Teaching is a job. You're in education all the time, so you have to be upgraded every few months. Then is it the teacher allowed to individually work with? Does the teacher's timetable have that individual one-to-one conversation where she can have with the student to understand? Or do you have a careers department in your school where you have a careers team, that academic and careers team, or academic strategy team, different names are given. So that way they can strategize with the students to understand their career needs and how they will build them up, and what are they doing as that team to enhance their skills. Then as already have discussed so many times, the most important thing is the school culture to change, and the teachers should be taken on a role of a facilitator, a coach, or a mentor, and not be somebody who's teaching, just teaching. No, you are a facilitator, and that's something you should always keep in mind. With all students come in the school with their own knowledge, own schemas. So as a teacher, you need to understand their knowledge, previously gained knowledge, right, present knowledge, and what they would be taking on, and you facilitate them to ensure that knowledge is properly looking at all the aspects and enhancing for a good overall development of that child. Okay. So, as a head teacher, as the lead of your school, there are certain things you have to understand, and you need to ensure that a successful partnership between the industry and the school happens. So, ensuring that aim, benefit, and first is the aim. So, what is the aim of the school? What is the school uh, asking for from the students, and what they want that industry to give? Then what will be that giving as a benefit? What is it taking into account? So what, how will this certain career aspect or collaboration with the industry benefit the school and also benefit the industry? What changes in the school you need to bring to ensure that this program is enhanced or community-based learning happens properly? And the drivers, what the drivers is basically understanding where you need to change certain things and how it will drive you to ensure a regular or a comfortable community-based learning to happen. So first is sharing their practical knowledge to understand that how the industry works. So as a head teacher, you have to ensure that you feel that okay, this is your assessment, this is what the aspects you feel need to be improved, and how you're going to guide the students for future trends in the industry. So whatever future trends, so as a lead of your school or teacher, head teacher, you have to ensure that you have enough knowledge about different industries for your students to be well equipped as well. So you understand what the uh, again, you can have industry mentor system placed in the school. You can have projects, research, and case studies given to the students for them to do on certain aspects as their learning enhancement. So they do projects in the school. So whatever practical aspects, the research work should be there. So you could ask the students to do their own case study, design their own study, and have mini research center in your own school. Then you have faculty development program. Very, very important as a head teacher, ensuring that whichever field your faculty is, they have their development CPDs done regularly to enhance their knowledge, to enhance all the new things in that aspect, or their subject have been now more prevalent where the industry is concerned, so that they can facilitate their students. Then industrial visits, there should always be some field visits incorporated in education from year 7 at least, so the students have the feel of their subject once a year at least in junior classes. And then as they grow older, it could be term wise depending upon obviously your resources. Then the work experience program should be well structured. They should know that this is when in the curriculum they're going to have their work experience, this is how they need to prepare, and when they should start the preparation for the work experience, and what they need to do when they come back from the work experience in school to ensure that skill stays consistent. Then contribution on updating the syllabus. So as a head teacher, you have to ensure that your curriculum is revised every time. The old curriculum is you get rid of, and according to the new development of industrial learning, you ensure that your curriculum has that aspects in it. And then you have a focus sector-based monthly program that is jointly by academia and industry. So that means academically what needs to be there, and what practical aspect in your academics you should ask put in to ensure it caters to the needs of the industry that you're going to put your students in. So, five advantages of organizing community based learning is that it is principle centered. So, it enables you to see how time in the context of what's important and what's effective. It is a conscious directed learning, so you enable to organize as a teacher or head teacher, you're able to organize your life and the student's life to gain deepest values. Then you are able to have a unique mission, including values of long-term goals that you have already set for your students, balancing between your life and identifying the roles, and then giving greater perspective to weekly organizing. That is, you ensure that you have weekly updates given to your teachers, taking updates, weekly updates, or a weekly meeting related that they are having work experiences as per your school timetable. So any further questions? No. Okay, so that's it then. This is the MES 008 program. It just ends here. So if because that's the units that are, that's all that is in this schedule. So if you feel that there's any questions from the whole unit you need to ask me, you're most welcome to ask me, because that's it. This is the end of the unit now for you. No questions? Okay, then I will stop sharing, and then that's it. Then there's no questions, nobody's saying anything to me. So I think that's it. I will end the session here, because that was it. That was the last program that we were supposed to do today. And as you have no questions, I see nobody sending me any message as well. So there's nothing in the chat box either. So I will end the session, and okay, have a wonderful year ahead. Thank you so much for listening.
Okay, thank you, ma.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, Namrata ma'am. Suleiman. Suleiman,
Yes, yes. So,
your meeting class is over or is still going on?
no, the class has ended.
Okay, ended. Okay then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome, ma.
Okay, thank you so much. You can also leave now. Okay.
Okay, okay, let us leave.
Okay. All the best.